Once you're done creating your sketches for your logo, you're going to take a picture of the sketches and save it to your computer. You'll then open Adobe Illustrator, go to File, New, and you're going to give your document a name. The important part is to make sure that your document has a width of 8 inches and a height of 10 inches. If it's not in inches, you can go to the units and change it. You'll click OK, and then a blank white document will show up. What you see here is my blank white document, but my image is over top of it. To bring the image into this document, you're going to go to File, Open, find your image on the computer and open it, and it'll show up as a tab up here. And just like you did in Adobe Photoshop, you're going to go to your selection tool and you'll drag your image onto this document. So now that I have this image over here, you're going to make sure that in the layers palette, just like in Photoshop, you lock the picture layer. And you'll be creating a new layer every time you make a new addition to your project. So the whole goal is for you to go over top of your drawings and create digital versions of them. So what we're going to do is I'm going to first zoom in on one of them. So here's my zoom tool, looks like a little magnifying glass. And then you're going to go over to the pen tool. So now that I'm on a different layer, what the pen tool does is it outlines wherever you want, and it can fill in that outline. So for example, this is the fill color, and this box here is the outline color. You don't want to ever start with a fill color, so if you click that box and then click this one that says none, you'll have a white box with a red arrow or a red line through it. And then you also want to make sure you have an outline. So what you can do with the pen tool is go ahead and begin tracing around the area that you want by clicking once and releasing, and you'll notice you have this tiny little, they call it an anchor. So then if I come up here and click and release, it'll create a straight line for me. Come over here, click and release, it'll create a straight line, and so on. So I'll just go ahead and make my outline. And then you want to come back to where you began. And you'll notice every time I touch onto that anchor, it has a tiny little circle to the very right of my tool. And that says that's going to close off that selection. So it's going to make a shape. Now, if I want to fill in that shape, I can double click on this square and I can give it a fill color. I want to just do gray. And then I want that black outline, so I'm good. So now what I want to do is lock that layer because I've created one shape and create a new layer. But the problem is I want to still be able to see the picture. So you can click on the eye to go ahead and make that disappear. And then you'll do the same exact thing that you were doing before. And again, you're going to create a different color for that fill layer. Okay? And then you lock that, create a new one, stay on that pen tool, and I'm just doing the white caps for my logo right now. Now you can also, you don't have to follow exactly over your images, but you know, you can, this is where you can perfect what you've drawn. So I'm going to go ahead and lock that, and now I'm going to bring back that original layer. And you'll notice that this white cap did pretty good, but I've got one over here that I need to change a bit. So I'll unlock it and I'll go to my selection tool. And the nice thing about this is that you can kind of move some things around to realign them. And that way, you know, you're making it look as good as possible. So then you can move it, realign it just a little bit more. And now it looks a little bit better. So you can lock that. Once you're done here, you can actually take your hand and you can grab to move around on other parts of the page. And as long as you're doing new layers for each time you're doing this, you're good. The last thing I want to show you real quick is that the pen tool doesn't just have to make straight lines. So if you click and release and make your first anchor point, then you click and hold and you can actually make that curved line. And when you release, you'll notice that it starts to try to fill that in. Now, every time you do it, you'll have these handlebars here, that straight line. So once I release, I want to click right in the middle of it on that anchor point to make one of the handlebars disappear. Then I can come down here, click and hold, and I can move this all around to create another curved line.